NBC7 News Today starts now.
A chilly and wet weekend in San Diego. Here's a live look at the storm hitting us right now. And as you can see with the radar, it's going to be raining all morning.
And it rained just about all night, too. It caused some major problems on the roads and also some damage in parts of the county.
Meantime, in Northern California, the storm is delivering a powerful punch in the form of snow to the mountains, and this is what drivers in Tahoe are facing on what is already a busy traffic weekend because of Thanksgiving. We have complete coverage of this winter storm. Ramon Galindo is live in Vista this morning with a look at some of the crashes the rain caused. But first, Vanessa is tracking the storm for us, and tell us what's going on out there.
Well, we're going to show you first a 6-hour loop of that radar. So here's what happened early this morning and actually what's happening right now. So some scattered showers moving through the region. Here's a bigger picture of what the state of California is looking like. That is some serious snow to our northern parts of the state. But zooming back into San Diego, looking at a live look at the radar right now, you can see a pretty good band of showers just rolled through Oceanside and Encinitas, the north coastal county areas, and it is moving through to Escondido and will eventually push out a little further east over our mountain areas. We do have a high wind warning for the immediate coastline and for our inland valley areas. So this is pretty rare. We don't typically see any wind advisories along the coast, along the immediate coastline, but we also have a wind advisory in effect in that brown area over the mountains and over for part of the desert areas. So very gusty conditions. We saw some damage overnight last night, so even gustier winds are expected today, and also a better chance for showers as we get through these early parts of the day, and then as we get into the afternoon, evening hours, the showers will taper off. But if you are headed out the door, grab that jacket and grab that umbrella, but be careful with your umbrella because it will be so windy that you might not be able to use it in some parts of the area and some parts of the county throughout the day today.
And with more rain expected, drivers will want to pay extra attention to those dangerous driving conditions out there because over the past 18 hours, we've been tracking a huge jump in crashes because of the slick roads.
NBC7's Ramon Galindo is in Vista with more on the problems being caused by the weather.
Yeah, good morning, Vanessa. We're out here in Vista where we got hit by a downpour just a little while ago. Things are starting to clear up a little bit, but obviously still really slick roads. This was the scene of a crash last night. Things have cleared up. There's still a little bit of damage left behind, some broken glass, but as the wet roads continue this morning, police and highway patrol are expecting to respond to a lot more crashes this morning. Now, this is what things looked like last night here in Vista. When deputies arrived, they found the car had slid sideways on a wet road and crashed. That driver, he was trapped inside. It took a little time for firefighters to get him out. The driver did have serious injuries, but he is going to survive. From the North County down to the south, slick roads causing traffic issues all over the place. Late last night, several cars collided in Kearny Mesa. This scene is from an area where the 15 and the 163 connect. All the southbound lanes were shut down for a time. An infant and the child's parents, they were taken to the hospital to be treated. And it wasn't just there. Up in Fallbrook, a tree fell over on South Mission Road near Green Canyon Road. The tree also hit some power lines. One car did hit the tree, but the driver wasn't hurt. The Highway Patrol helped direct traffic throughout the evening while crews worked through the night to clear the roads. Now, back out here live, we are in the North County as we were driving from the NBC7 studios in Kearny Mesa up the 15, slick roads throughout, and there was some fog in Escondido. So if you are going out, you're gonna drive somewhere this morning, just be aware the roads are gonna be slick, so slow down a little bit, just be aware of the dangerous conditions. For now, we're in Vista. Ramon Galindo, NBC7.
Plenty of homeowners are in cleanup mode this morning, including one because of the rain that you're seeing right here. The storm forcing the uprooting of a tree, and it fell directly on top of one family's van outside their Claremont home. They say although the storm was quick, it left its mark, including all of those branches scattered across their front yard.
We all came out and just tried to help as we could, but in the beginning it was still raining pretty heavily, so there wasn't much we could do. Nothing like that has ever happened before, so yeah, it was pretty insane.
The family says they are thankful their van only had minor damage.
New this morning, the hikers stranded in Beaver Hollow Valley in the East County have been rescued. 3 men went missing around 6 last night after the rain trapped them near a waterfall. Sheriff's deputies found them at about 9 o'clock. San Diego Fire Copter 2 and a Coast Guard helicopter both responded but couldn't rescue the hikers due to the weather. The hikers were finally rescued at 1:30 this morning. One had a cut on his hand and a head injury, but all 3 refused medical attention. And you can count on NBC7 for the latest weather updates. And when we are not on air, you can stay up to date by downloading the NBC7 app. Get up-to-the-minute weather alerts with interactive maps and video forecasts.
People in Cuba have already started their 9 days of mourning for former President Fidel Castro. The leader of the Cuban Revolution died Friday night at age 90, and some people went to church. Public events were called off and many businesses shut down. In Miami's Little Havana, meantime, a different scene, thousands cheering the end of an era. Funeral plans call for Castro's ashes to travel across the island after a mass gathering Tuesday at Havana's Revolution Plaza. And here in San Diego, Castro's death brings out some different emotions like hope and happiness for Cuban Americans. The laughter you heard right there, part of a celebration marking the end of heartache and oppression under Castro. During the Cuban Revolution in 1959, Daniel Mera says his grandfather told his grandmother to leave Cuba and to stay in the United States for safety. When Castro rose to power, the couple never saw each other again. Mera, along with his friends, family, and strangers at Andre's Latin American Market, see Castro's death as a sign of new opportunity.
Hard to rejoice when somebody dies, but when someone has caused so much harm. He had an iron grip on the people and the island for so long.
Castro's brother Raul remains president, but he has said he'll retire in 2018.
Meantime, President-elect Donald Trump took to Twitter to react to the news of the death of former Cuban president. His tweet was just 4 words, quote, "Fidel Castro is dead." He then went on to say, quote, "Fidel Castro's legacy is one of the firing squad's theft, unimaginable suffering, poverty, and the denial of fundamental human rights." The push for election recounts continue, and now Hillary Clinton's campaign says it will join Green Party candidate Jill Stein's efforts. Stein raised millions of dollars to have votes counted again in Wisconsin. She's also pledged to pursue additional recounts in Pennsylvania and Michigan. Clinton's campaign added it will also participate in those recounts if Stein pursues them. President-elect Trump condemned the recount, calling it a scam.
New this morning, 1 person is dead and 9 others hurt after a shooting in the crowded French Quarter of New Orleans. The shooting happened early this morning on iconic Bourbon Street after the weekend's Bayou Classic football game. 2 people have already been arrested for possession of firearms, but police say it's unclear if they were the shooters. Police also say the circumstances surrounding the shooting are unknown. New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu called the shooting senseless and tragic.
It's totally unacceptable. The violence just continues to spin out of control with people brandishing weapons whenever they think they can, and it's really unfortunate.
Well, police have arrested 8 people with possession of firearms over the past 24 hours. Some of those people not believed to be involved in this. They just say they're making it clear downtown New Orleans, Bourbon Street, the French Quarter, it's not the place to bring a firearm. A federal judge has cleared the way for jury selection to begin tomorrow in the high-profile case of Dylan Roof. Roof is charged in the shooting deaths of 9 black parishioners at a South Carolina church last year. Yesterday, the judge announced Roof was competent to stand trial. He could face the death penalty if convicted.
It's been months of negotiations between union nurses and Sharp Healthcare, and there's still no agreement. Nurses in several local hospitals could go on strike as early as tomorrow. They're demanding higher wages, but Sharp claims the union has already turned down several offers for a raise. In the latest negotiations, the union proposed to require all registered nurses to join the union, and if any nurse didn't pay their union dues, the hospital would have to fire them. But that didn't go through either. In case of a strike, Sharp Healthcare says it already has a plan.
We have contracted with a nurse agency that will be providing us replacement nurses for those nurses who do honor the strike.
If an agreement is not reached, the nurse union says it plans to picket outside Sharp Hospital starting tomorrow in Chula Vista, La Mesa, Coronado, and Kearney Mesa, day and night. And we'll be tracking this winter-like storm for you all morning long. And with all this rain, it seems like a good day to stay inside and watch some football.
Hey, sounds like a plan for me.
Right now, the Chargers are in Houston getting ready to take on the Texans, but one key player didn't make the trip. Our Derek Togerson explains the impact it could have both on the field and in the locker room.
Meantime, we're always bracing for the big one here in California, whether it be drills, preparedness kits, or evacuation plans. But that's not the case when it comes to earthquake insurance, why some San Diegans say they're opting out. You're watching NBC 7 News Today. It's 7:10. Back-to-back storms will bring a soggy end to the holiday weekend here in San Diego and across Southern California. An NBC 7 viewer sent us this video right here. Looks like their backyard. This is in Carlsbad. Their patio taking a bit of a pounding from yesterday's storm. So that was storm number 1, packing a pretty powerful punch. But now we have a second storm to prepare for today. In fact, parts of it already here. We want to show you what our roads look like right now. We're taking you live to eastbound Interstate 8. This is just east of Mission Center Road. And as you see, looks like actually a little bit of a rainbow there at the end of the road as the sun and clouds mix together. But traffic, not a problem there. We do know a lot of people will be out on the roads today, perhaps traveling at the end of the Thanksgiving break with family and friends. But so far, so good. We'll send it on over to Vanessa, who's been tracking the latest conditions.
And Stephen, one thing that I want to go over right now, first off, is these rainfall totals. So if you live in the North County or in the mountain areas, you know how much rainfall we got. So we'll go over that in just a second, but there is a little bit of fog developing at Lindbergh Field just within the last 20 to 30 minutes or so. So here's a look, and you can see that it is starting to develop quite a bit there. It's especially along the 15 where we are seeing a little bit of fog. It's the low fog though, and it is developing mostly for the Inland Valley areas, but we'll check back in. I don't see any dense fog advisories in effect just yet, but I will check on that and see if there is one that will be issued or possibly any flight delays, because we do know that fog does tend to create delays at the airports. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at those rainfall totals to see. This is over the last 24 hours. Oh, we're going to take another live shot. So okay, there we go. There's our rainfall total. So here's what we got in the last 24 hours. So you can see Lake Cuyamaca, Mount Woodson, and our North County coastal areas. That's where we got the most of the storm. So areas like Chula Vista, even Lindbergh Field, not as much rain, not nearly as much rain, not even a quarter of an inch for some of you towards the South County. But again, if you live in some of these areas, you know just how much rain we got, mostly about a half an inch, more than a half an inch for most areas in the North County coastal region. So here's a look at the satellite and radar currently right now. So that band of showers that we saw, that Ramon mentioned just a few minutes ago, that is moving east. So that will hit the eastern parts of the county here in just a few minutes, even a little snow popping up at some of the higher elevation areas. And you can see another band of showers that is moving in towards Oceanside right now. So that will move along North County coastal once again, which will mean that we will see better rainfall totals for the North County region. It is also a chilly start to the day. So this is a cold front storm. And as the day goes on, the temperatures are not really going to warm up a whole lot. So here's a look right now. Not quite as cold as we were waking up yesterday morning, but still certainly on the chilly side. So La Jolla at 55 degrees, Oceanside at 51 right now. In our inland valleys, we're mostly in the upper 40s to the low 50s. And for the higher elevation mountain areas, 43 in Julian. So that's why you're seeing a little bit of snow possibly falling in the higher elevation areas like Mount Laguna. And 48 right now for Borrego Springs. So here's a look at the Futurecast cloud model on what to expect as the day goes on. So a few good bands of showers will be pushing through the region as we get into these later morning hours. So here's a look at 10 a.m. Yet another band of showers that will be moving through the region, and pretty spotty showers. So these are going to be more widespread than what we saw yesterday and overnight last night. Looking through to 2 p.m., yet another good band of showers that will be going through. Light to moderate rainfall for most areas. A few areas will see some pretty moderate to heavy rainfall at times. But again, this is widespread, so it's not going to be a lot of you that will be seeing this very heavy rainfall. And as we get into the evening hours, late evening, early nighttime, we are looking at the showers just moving on out. And at this point, we only have about a 20% chance of showers into the region. For Monday's forecast, we do have a slight chance of showers possibly in the afternoon hours, but that should just stay right off the coast there and not give us any chance for showers. All right, so here's a look at our forecast for today. Our daytime highs, again, not warming up a whole lot. spot. We're looking at the low 60s along the coast. For our inland valley areas, it's going to be a pretty chilly one in the mid to the upper 60s there. And for the mountains as well, I think we have a better chance of seeing some snow showers as we get into tonight's forecast. But take a look at the daytime high for Julian. Not warm at all in Borrego Springs, a high of 65 degrees. So certainly going to be a chilly day and very windy. I can't stress that enough. So maybe go out and check your trees, because a lot of times when we have weather like this and we have a good amount of rain and then we get the winds and the rain on a second day, we usually see trees coming down. So this is not good.
All right, so maybe some kids will have some chores out there at least, you know, picking up all the
Rake the
leaves and
leaves.
stuff. Exactly. I had to do that when I was a kid. Okay, you know who's not dealing with the rain right now? The Chargers. That's because they're in Houston getting ready to take on the Texans. The Texans, by the way, who have yet to lose a game at home. That's not good. The Chargers are out a few key assets as well. Derek Togerson talks about the important player they'll be missing today, both on the field and in the locker room.
You know, you look at the stat sheet and you don't think that nose tackle Brandon Mebane had all that big of an impact. 21 tackles, just 1 sack for the season over 10 games. But his impact on this Chargers team cannot be measured in mere statistics. He was the guy who locked up the middle of the field, one of the few true nose tackles left in the National Football League. But now that he's out for the season with a torn biceps muscle, his impact on the field will not be felt nearly as much as the loss of his impact in the locker room.
Brandon's been awesome, not only on the field, but that mentality, that toughness, that winning mentality obviously he's had in Seattle and been a part of a championship team, and what he's brought to not only the defense but the whole team. So I certainly hate to see him finish the season that way, but I'm very excited that he's going to be a part of it, of this organization, this team.
He's really the anchor of our defense, but he's really the anchor of our team too. You know, he was a guy that had a tremendous spirit every time that, he had a big spirit but was calm at the same time, and I think that guys look to him for leadership. He's played, you know, obviously played a very long time, very high level. Came from Seattle, winning tradition there. Came here trying to implement some of the things that he learned up there here, and so it's a tremendous loss. But that just shows that, you know, everybody's got to step up.
The change in what you've seen Brandon creating to getting to Damian Square, to Joey, to Corey Leggett, to those guys, to Tenny Palapore, those guys pushing one another. I think competition breeds success, and you see guys out there on the practice field doing it. I think it's a big part of success for the younger players because you see how it's done day in and day out, and I think that's the most important thing.
Now, Mebane will still be around. He'll be coaching on the sidelines, lending his decade of experience and expertise to the team. Guys to replace him, Damian Square gets the first shot at it. You might see Darius Philon moving in along with Corey Leggett in the middle of that line as well against the Texans here in Houston on Sunday. At Energy Stadium, Derek Togerson for NBC7.
Still a glimmer of hope for the playoffs, but they need to win today.
Hope so. All right, so switching gears here a little bit. Right now, natural disaster experts are closely watching the San Andreas Fault. They think if a big one hits, the fault could zip open and cause a lot of damage. But why, despite the danger, some Californians are taking their chances when it comes to earthquake insurance.
And in just a couple of months, El Cajon will have its very first hotel. How some say it's going to play a huge role in the revitalization of that city. Meantime, let's take a live look outside. This is along Interstate 8 right there. We'll tell you about the San Diego Jazz Fest because even though we do have a little bit of rain today, life goes on, right? This is from 9 in the morning until 6 o'clock tonight at the Town and Country Resort.
Welcome back. It is 7:24 and you are taking a live look at that radar. We had a pretty good band of showers that rolled through North County Coastal, and yet a second band is coming through. So you can see Valley Center and parts of Ramona are starting to see some rainfall. So mostly along the 15 there. And then yet another band of showers will be coming down the coastline there and moving through the region. Even a little bit of snow at the very top of Palomar Mountain right now. And we could even see a little more snow in our local mountain areas a little later on tonight.
Watching that green blob there around Ramona. Just south of there is the 52 and the 125 in the East County. That's one area of town we just haven't checked in on yet. So let's get out there, and as you see in that live picture right there, not a whole lot of people out on a Sunday morning, but it is foggy out there in the East County, as we've seen as well at Lindbergh Field. So something to keep an eye on as you get out and maybe do some holiday shopping here on a pre-Cyber Monday Sunday.
Yeah, maybe give it a couple hours and see if that fog gets a chance to burn off and let a couple of those bands of showers go through. Because as we get into the afternoon hours, that's when the showers really will start to move on out and the chance does decrease. So grab your jacket and maybe your umbrella, but it will be pretty windy out there, so don't break that umbrella because you're probably going to need it again soon. All right, so if it's raining in your neighborhood, we want to see it. Send us your storm pictures and videos to ic@nbcsandiego.com, or you can tag us with the hashtag NBC7.
Okay, so a new study puts earthquake preparedness back in the spotlight. It seems like California's always bracing for the big one, right? Well, experts in natural disasters are keeping a close eye on the San Andreas 800-mile fault. Recent analysis shows the fault could zip open from top to bottom. It's possible, but highly unlikely. And Californians seem to be taking their chances with that. Only about 10% of homeowners right now pay for earthquake insurance.
Selling a message about a disaster that may or may not happen in the immediate future is a little challenging.
Earthquakes don't kill, buildings do.
Well, the average premium earthquake insurance is about $250. With more modern construction and building codes in San Diego, there's less demand for earthquake insurance. About 100,000 San Diegans currently have it. A new hotel might not be big news in some cities. San Diego has plenty, for example, but that's not the case in El Cajon. While the city has many smaller motels, this 120-room Courtyard Marriott will become El Cajon's first ever hotel. The 4-star property sits just off Main Street in the downtown area and will open next spring. El Cajon Public Information Officer Monica Zeck says it's the missing link in years of revitalization.
And it's a gap between Mission Valley and Alpine, where you've got 2 hotels, or a lot of hotels in Mission Valley, of course, but it gives them a place to stay in between.
So the new hotel will have company. The city's old police station near State Route 67 and Parkway Plaza will also be demolished to make way for a second hotel next year. That's the property we just saw right there. Well, it is a rainy morning in San Diego, as we've been telling you all morning long.
And it made a mess of our local roads. Let's check in with NBC7's Ramon Galindo live in Vista, where a driver hydroplaned into a light pole.
Yeah, that's right, Vanessa. The rain causing some dangerous conditions, and as you can see, it's coming down in Vista right now. And well, some bad things do happen because of the rain. I want you to show you some of the positives. Just behind me, a huge rainbow over North County. We're in Vista, just near Vista High School. That's the nice stuff. But we're also going to tell you about all the problems still ahead as this storm continues to hit San Diego. The story about the problems on the freeways, that's straight ahead.
And taking a live look outside, the showers are coming down in various parts of the county, and they are expected to continue. So when I come back in a couple minutes, we will take a look at what's happening outside and what to expect later on today. And I also want to tell you about food packing in Poway for families in need. You can head out there and go ahead and do something good for the community. You're watching NBC7 News Today. It is 7:28.
You're watching NBC7 News Today.
Back-to-back winter-like storms are making for a soggy Sunday on this holiday weekend. We've been tracking it since last week when it first popped up on our exclusive 10-day forecast. And this morning, we've got team coverage for you.
Ramon Galindo is in Vista with more on how the rain made for some messy roads. In fact, he just got soaked a few seconds ago. We'll check in with him, but let's start with our live sweeping Doppler. Vanessa has more on that.
Yeah, so we are seeing some showers popping up across the county. Here's a look at the loop just over the last 3 hours, and you can see another good band of showers is making its way into the county right now. So we can expect this off and on throughout the day. As we get into the afternoon hours, the showers will begin to taper off, but it's more like late afternoon, early evening. So you can see here right around 4 p.m. the chance of showers does decrease to about 20%. So a 20% chance of showers before about 10 p.m. or so, and then after that it does decrease to just a slight chance of showers. But take a look at the temperatures there. So this is from noon today till 6 p.m. for Lindbergh Field, and we are looking at 62 to 63 degrees. So that is chilly for us, especially for this time of year. Here's a look at the rest of the county. For our inland valleys, we will see a few areas in the upper 50s, just like Fallbrook, but for the most part, we're looking at the mid to the upper 60s there. And these are our afternoon highs. For areas like Valley Center in the mid 50s and Julian, a high of 44 degrees. And 65 in Borrego, and it is going to be very windy today as well. So we're looking at a soggy, windy, and cold day for us.
Seeing that inland blue streak, we don't usually get to see that.
Nope. So the rain this morning has left behind some slippery roads throughout San Diego County.
That's right. Overnight, the Highway Patrol responding to several crashes. It's expected to be another dangerous morning on the road. There may be a few travelers, extra travelers out there as well, heading home from the big Thanksgiving holiday. NBC7's Ramon Galindo is in Vista with more on just a few of those problems being caused by the rain all over the county. Ramon.
Yeah, that's right, Stephen. We can expect Highway Patrol and police to continue to respond to more slick roadways, crashes caused by the dangerous conditions. We've been out here in Vista for an hour, and we've been getting a pretty steady downpour throughout the day. Now, this was the scene of a crash that happened last night. Pretty serious crash. Let's show you the video from last night. There was a man who was driving slick roadways, slammed into a power pole. Firefighters, it took them a while to get him out of the car. The man was trapped and suffered some pretty serious injuries, but fortunately the Sheriff's Department says that the man will survive. But that was just one of several problems caused by the weather. Last night in Fallbrook, a tree fell over on South Mission Road and Green Canyon Road. The tree hit some power lines and then blocked part of the street. One car did hit the tree, but the driver wasn't hurt. The Highway Patrol was there doing traffic control to make sure everyone made it around safely and that crews were able to clear the tree from the roadway. And in an area just north of Miramar, an infant and the child's parents, they were hurt when several cars collided. This is in the area of Interstate 15 and 163 where those two freeways connect. That forced the southbound lanes to be closed for quite some time. That road has been cleared. But obviously, as we take a look back out here live in Vista, we're still seeing rain here in the North County. It's been pretty steady throughout the morning. The entire hour that we've been out here, we've been getting drenched. And definitely the Highway Patrol sees a huge jump in the amount of accidents that they respond to on these rainy days. So obviously urging drivers to, if you need to go out and drive, get out there early, watch your speed, and definitely be aware of the dangerous conditions. For now, we're reporting in Vista. Ramon Galindo, NBC7.
Ramon, thank you. And we've been watching some of the live cameras up in the San Bernardino Mountains. We want to show you what it looks like right now on the ground. The video you're seeing here taken within the last 10 minutes. So this is almost live. It's been snowing up in Big Bear and on the summit certainly overnight. They have about 3 inches of fresh snow and nearly 5 inches out on the slopes because they have the machines as well. As you see, not a whole lot of visibility there, but good enough to get down the hill on a pair of skis and maybe a snowboard. So you can definitely hit the slopes over the coming days as all of that gets going.
Nice. All right, so we're still working to find out who the victim is in a serious hit-and-run crash in the Lake Murray neighborhood. The man was hit yesterday near the intersection of Jackson and Blue Lake Drive. The driver kept going. The man was found in the gutter by a Good Samaritan who called 911. He was taken to the hospital with life-threatening head injuries. Investigators are still looking for the driver. And an uptick in police shootings is prompting some changes in a national memorial. The National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund in Washington, D.C. says it's on pace to add nearly 400 names of fallen officers to its memorial wall next year. So far this year, more officers have died in the line of duty than in all of 2015. 20 officers have been ambushed and killed just this year. Among them, San Diego police officer Jonathan de Guzman. He was shot and killed in July during a violent attack in South Crest. Now it's up to one person to input the names of the fallen officers into the database, and it's a job she does with love.
It's just heartbreaking to see all the violence, and specifically for no reason.
The next ceremony is scheduled for next year, sometime during Police Week.
Local veterans used bagpipes, as you heard right there, to demand a revote on an affordable housing project in Poway. The veterans rallied yesterday after 3 council members, including Poway's mayor, voted against the proposed 22-unit complex along Twin Peaks Road. They cited concerns about traffic and money, the mayor saying it just wasn't the right project. But one veteran says Poway needs to give it a chance.
I offer a lot to my community. Veterans really bring a lot to the table, and I benefit from affordable housing. So extending that opportunity to other veterans to live here in Poway and allow them the opportunity to benefit this community, I think is something that Poway should definitely take advantage of.
The $800,000 housing development was a partnership with Habitat for Humanity. We did reach out to Poway's Mayor Steve Voss yesterday, and he sent us this statement, which reads in part, quote, Poway's commitment to veterans is unwavering. I'm looking forward to the meeting I've scheduled with a preeminent developer of affordable housing for veterans. Meantime, a man in Lakeside worries for his young son after spotting a mountain lion not once but several times in his yard. He thinks it lives behind his house. There it is at the bottom of your screen, coming down the steps right there, walking out. This is Kyle Michael's home. It was his surveillance cameras which first captured images of the big cat back in July. After several more recent sightings, Michael now thinks, as I mentioned, the mountain lion lives on the hill behind his home. He worries his 2-year-old son could get hurt.
I was down here working on the tractor down there, and it was probably about 10, 11 o'clock, and we seen he was up on this hillside over here coming down, and then he seen us, and then he didn't stop. He just kept going down and went down the hill over there.
Michael says a neighbor called Wildlife Services for help, but that they basically said they can't do anything unless the cat causes harm.
Oh, that is scary. Repairs are underway right now on the most expensive destroyer ever built for the Navy. This past week, the USS Zumwalt became stranded in the Panama Canal because of an engineering problem. The destroyer is now being fixed at ex-Naval Station Rodman in Panama. The ship was built in Maine and is on its way to San Diego, its home port. The 610-foot-long warship cost more than $4.4 billion. A registered sex offender is suing the Grossmont Union School District because he feels he is not being allowed to take part in his child's education. The father says the district will not give him written permission to go on campus. He and his lawyer say that denies him of his right to take part in his child's education. The lawsuit does not name the school in question. We reached out to the district, but were told no one was available to comment. And top story right now is this rain. Some more showers are expected to hit the county today. We're tracking what the weather looks like and what's left of your holiday weekend. Here's a live look at that radar, and you can see some pretty spotty showers, but it's pretty moderate rainfall in some areas across the county. We'll be checking in with Ramon Galindo one more time to see the impact this winter storm has had on our local roads.
But first, it is the giving season. We're just at the start of it, and you don't have to be Santa Claus to help out. How you can really make a difference in the lives of some local seniors. We'll show you exactly how when we come back. And here's another live look outside. Can't tell. We got some raindrops. Certainly the roads are wet. Well, either way, be prepared with your umbrellas. Be prepared with some safe driving. And the Festival of Trees Family Day will be happening from 10 in the morning until 4 o'clock this afternoon. We even hear Santa Claus may make an appearance.
All right, welcome back. We want to show you the radar once again. So here's a live look at that, and you can see we do have some pretty widespread showers across the county. There is another good band of storms that will be coming down along North County coastal. Areas of Oceanside are about to see it. Areas like La Jolla and Del Mar will soon see that. And in between the 5 and the 15 corridors, you can see there is some yellow and red in there. So that's some pretty moderate to heavy rainfall in some of those little condensed areas. But for the most part, we will be seeing these showers off and on throughout the day as this second winter-like storm of the weekend does move through our region. We also want to show you what it looks like outside right now. Now, a few minutes ago, we showed you the eastbound 52 at the 125. You can see it is still pretty foggy out there. I just checked with the National Weather Service, and they said they will not issue a dense fog advisory because it appears as though the fog will be getting a chance to burn off here very shortly. If you are headed out on the roads, you can see the roads are wet there. And again, the foggy conditions and also pretty gusty in some areas. So if you are headed out within the next hour or two, just be extra careful out there on the roads. And NBC7 is your place for complete weather coverage. You can download the app for free and get up-to-the-minute customized weather alerts and watch video forecasts for when we are not on the air.
Okay, tell me if this sounds familiar. You want to do something to help someone this holiday season, but you're really busy and you just aren't quite sure where to start. Well, you are in luck because this morning we're going to show you exactly how you can make a huge difference. St. Paul's Amanda Goyce joins me. And Amanda, you help senior citizens, specifically seniors who don't have family and friends and a support system around them.
Right, that's exactly right. At St. Paul Senior Services, we have a PACE program, and that is an acronym. It stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. And generally, the people in this program are very low income. Often they have been homeless in the past, and they have major medical frailties, and they don't have a support system. So oftentimes, there's no family member to support them.
We think of our sweet grandma that we bring over for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and here's someone that doesn't have anybody, and you're just trying to give them some basic stuff. So what are some things that would be helpful?
What we've noticed they lack are very basic items like warm clothing, socks, pajamas, sheet sets, blankets, and then sundry items like even toothpaste, deodorant, soaps. Those are the types of things that they consider a luxury item. And so we like to encourage San Diego to donate very, very basic need items.
Something as basic as you mentioned toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, pajamas, razors, canned goods, just a few of the things there. And where can people drop them off?
We have 2 locations. So we have one in the downtown area at 111 Elm Street. And then we have a second location in Chula Vista, and that is 630 L Street.
Amanda, I know people have big hearts. I know people want to help, and sometimes they just need a running start, and hopefully this is it this morning. Thanks so much for stopping by, and great work with helping these folks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Vanessa, we will send it on over to you.
All right, season of giving is certainly here. It's our top story this weekend, the winter-like storm hitting San Diego. It's bringing much-needed rain, but it's causing a lot of crashes on our roads, as you can imagine. NBC 7's Ramon Galindo is live in Vista with more.
That's right, Vanessa. We've been getting soaked out here all morning, and so have the roadways. And we all know Southern California gets rain. We see a ton of crashes. The road's still slick this morning. A ton of problems overnight. We'll show you some of those straight ahead.
Some pretty good puddles out there on the roads as well. You can see a little break in the clouds, so if you are seeing clear skies above you, just wait. You probably have some showers headed your way. We are expecting showers off and on throughout the day. And it's probably a good day to take your pet and head to Pet Photo Night at the Fashion Valley Mall. Maybe you'll see me there with my puppies. You're watching NBC 7 News Today. It is 7:48.
So that first storm to hit San Diego County caused problems for drivers up and down the coast. And the dangerous conditions continue with storm number 2 soaking local roads.
NBC 7's Ramon Galindo is live in Vista with more on some of the issues we've been seeing.
Yeah, that's right, Vanessa. We're here in Vista where it is still raining this morning. Last night, this was the scene of a pretty bad crash. The slick roadways caused a driver to crash his car into a pole here. Now, the scene has been cleared. There's still a little bit of broken glass left behind, but even though the crash has been cleared, Highway Patrol and police will likely be responding to a lot more because, as you can see, it is still coming down, the rain coming down in the North County, and the roads definitely dangerous. I want to show you what things looked like here last night. Late last night, the car wrapped around this power pole pretty much. Firefighters, it took them a little while to get the man out. He was trapped. He did suffer some serious injuries, but fortunately, according to the Sheriff's Department, that man is going to survive. And that was just one of several problems that we saw last night, where the 15 and the 163 connect just south of Kearny Mesa near Miramar. There were several cars that crashed. An infant was hurt. The parents of the child were hurt. Several of the lanes had to be shut down for quite a while. That freeway has been reopened. And up in Fallbrook, a tree ended up falling into the roadway, hit some power lines. A car did crash into it. No one in that car was injured, but obviously it did cause a traffic mess. One of several crashes that we saw. And Highway Patrol, obviously, they respond to a lot more accidents when the weather conditions are like this here in Southern California. Now, back out live, the rain has tapered down here in Vista, but obviously still a lot of slick roads. And as Vanessa mentioned, we're going to be seeing a lot more rain and wind as you go through this Sunday. So definitely be careful if you're hitting the roadways. For now, we're live in Vista. Ramon Galindo, NBC.
NBC7. Thank you, Ramon, and let's get right on over to Vanessa Herrera. And Vanessa, I know you've been watching sort of the rain move down the coast from the North County. This is storm number 2 that we're seeing, just to clarify again.
This is storm number 2, Stephen, and it's going to linger throughout the day. Now, one of the things that we've been talking about during this show in the last hour or so is the fog. So the fog is lifting at Lindbergh Field. You can still see it out there in the horizon. So especially for those of you in the East County areas along the 15, that is where we are seeing some pretty dense fog out there. So let's go ahead and take a look at our current visibility right now. Look at this, not great at all. So no dense fog advisory in effect yet anyway. Doesn't look like there will be one because the fog again is lifting, but take a look at this. 1 mile visibility in El Cajon, 2 in Escondido. In the higher elevation mountain areas, not great either. So if you can avoid getting on the roads within the next hour or two, I would certainly do so because when you add in the wet roads and also the fog, it just does not make a good combination out there. Here's a live look at the satellite radar, and as Ramon mentioned, he's been getting rained on pretty much all morning long, so the rain is more widespread today. Yesterday and last night we saw some pretty good bands of showers that did roll through the county. Today it's going to be more widespread. So what does that mean? There's going to be quite a few areas that don't see much rain at all, and then other areas that see some pretty good rainfall. So here's yet another band that will be coming off and hitting the I-5 here within the next half hour or so. We also have wind advisories in effect for the entire county. So from the coast to the deserts, we are looking at windy conditions. So when we see this along the coast, that usually means trees coming down, especially with the rain that has been soaking into the grounds, and it does loosen up the roots. So just be extra careful out there with that. It's also going to be cold today. So here's a look at our afternoon highs. It's not warm out there right now, and we are not going to get a chance to warm up whatsoever. Along the coast, we're looking at an average of about 63 degrees. In our inland valley areas, we will warm up pretty much to what we did yesterday in the mid to the upper 60s there. In Julian, a high of 44 degrees and 65 in Borrego for today. So a cool day. And here's a look at that 10-day forecast because this doesn't last too long. So we've had a weekend full of wet weather and cold weather. We do have a slight chance for showers as we get into tomorrow afternoon. So it looks like we will get a long break in the rain later on tonight through our morning commute tomorrow, but then as we get into the afternoon hours, it looks like we could get the possibility of maybe a few showers. Not any significant amount of rainfall like we saw overnight, especially for the North County areas. But then take a look. We do warm up, we dry out, we get plenty of sunshine for the rest of this 10-day forecast, even next weekend, getting back up to closer to where we should be for this time of year for our averages. For the mountains and the deserts, for the mountains pushing out to the 10-day forecast, looking ahead to Tuesday through Sunday, we do dry out and we do get a chance to warm up, not a whole lot, but a little bit. But take a look, next Monday, our higher elevation areas could get another chance for showers as we get into next Monday. So this is way far out. It's something that we will continue to track, and it doesn't appear the rest of the county will get any of that. But again, the thing to take home here for the mountains and for the deserts is that it is going to be very gusty, it's going to be cold, and it is going to be a windy one out there. So grab your jacket, maybe your umbrella, but be careful, don't bust that umbrella with the wind because sometimes it has a tendency to flip inside out. You don't want to break that umbrella, but you definitely want to bundle up as you head out the door. And we do have a pretty good chance of seeing some snow in areas like Julian and Mount Laguna and Palomar overnight tonight, waking up tomorrow morning.
Real snow or like dusting snow?
Probably just a dusting,
just
but
a dusting.
It's San Diego. We get excited about that.
Gets us in the mood for the holiday season. And so does this. We have our NBC7 and iHeartMedia toy drive underway, so we can't let you go without mentioning how you can help.
So every child deserves something special for the holidays.
Yeah, make the holidays a little brighter for a child or teenager. Here's the information. Just drop off a new and unwrapped toy for kids from ages infant to 12 years old. It's this Friday from 6 in the morning until 6 o'clock in the afternoon at our station right here. We already have a bin where some of our coworkers have been dropping off. What's this guy? I love you this much, the wiener dog right here, and some other very important things for kids that just don't have
Season
much.
of giving.
That's right. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Stay dry.